Translated by deepl.com. Disclaimer: this is an unofficial translation and does contain errors. Conversation between Yanarara and
Zafenatpaneach of the Pleiadian Federation.
And Billy Eduard all but Meier beam.
778th contact Monday, 20 September 2021, 0.9 hours.
Hello, greetings, Eduard.
Greetings. We come today with a surprise message.
Welcome both of you. Good to see you. Greetings too. So you're having a bit of a rush today. I've heard that happens from time to time.
Yes, there is indeed, and something that is important and will delight you.
Then it can still be interesting. That's better, a good surprise, which is also important because such usually brings trouble.
Others would have asked long ago what the surprise should be.
Should I?
That would be the obvious thing to do.
With Svarhoth, I've learned that often woundedness is not good because too often anything of the sort brings a disappointment that is accompanied by unpleasant consequences. A good surprise is something different than just a surprise, but even there I prefer to be cautious because you never know.
That is probably right, so I should say a good surprise that will please and benefit you.
Yes, that's right, because the surprise always has to know whether it's going to be good or bad, so that the person being addressed knows from the start what he or she has to set up for. That is to say, whether he or she has to set up for something good or bad.
That is actually correct and should indeed be considered. But I'd rather let Yanarara explain.
Then I want to explain to you the following. As you know, we have been working since 2001 to find the reason why so many things don't work properly with your writing instruments and especially with your computer, since you finally switched to it. We could not explain why everything happened, until we realized that from outside your workroom an energy was affecting you and your writing instruments, which was completely unknown to us. Gradually this interested some experts from our research team. Consequently, they came here and tried to clarify.
Sorry to interrupt your explanation, but then you must have been here much earlier than I know.
Yes, that was indeed the case, because we already knew since your serious health breakdown at the beginning of the 1980s that you were being attacked from the outside. At that time you suffered a health breakdown, which you, as usual when it comes to your health, trivialized. And that's why you still take certain medications today.
That doesn't belong here now though, which is why I'm going to leave it out when I retrieve the conversation.
You kindly won't, because it should be said once what you, in addition to what must not be said concerning world events, conceal concerning your own person from those who are concerned about you.
But
there is no but in this respect, for it is right that what is real should be said once.
But
No buts, for it is really as Yanarara says. That should be enough.
Yes, really. You handwrote the book standing up at that time because you could no longer work sitting down. I observed that myself, and I know that since then you have to take a certain medicine every day, that you...
excuse me, but I think this is my private business. It can be...
It's not, and it's not because, and it's really not appropriate that you refuse to listen to us now and then not want to retrieve our conversation and not want to write it down, because we now know that your health breakdown back then was controlled by the same energies that are currently hindering you in your work at the computer and are also constantly attacking you in other ways. What happened to you concerning the ponies, whereby your right shoulder was shattered in such a way that it could only have become functional again through a long-lasting operation and with new metal joints? That also was caused by the interventions of this energy. In the meantime, we were able to fathom this clearly and without any doubts. By the way, It is incomprehensible to all of us how you were able to repair your shattered shoulder without the necessary operation in such a way that obviously everything is healed in such a way that today there are obviously no disadvantages. As we know from Pleiadian, he already asked you several times how you managed to do that, but you didn't tell him anything about it. So now we ask you again how you were able to do this. It is simply incomprehensible to us. For you have accomplished something that is simply impossible even for our understanding.
Yes, that is indeed so please.
I don't want to say it like that either. Well, I just don't want to and can't talk about it. Excuse me, I've already told Pataha, Florina and Bermuda it's just the way it is. That's all I want to say, and I have my reasons for that.
We have studied your life. There have been quite strange occurrences that we cannot comprehend, not even Pleiadian, for you are silent towards him as well.
Yes, so he says. You just don't speak?
That's just the way it is. I don't want to talk about it any further now.
Yes, it's a pity because...
It's not a pity because I can't talk about it even if I wanted to. It's on the other hand, it's just not possible. It's not possible for you guys to understand either. It just is, so please don't ask anymore.
It's obvious that it's not that you just don't want to talk.
So it is, you don't have to explicitly say it.
Then we'll be silent. Then let Yanarara tell you this, why we are here.
Well, our concern relates to what we mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, which is the strange energies that become so dangerous to you, that only affect you, but not other people. Since 2001 there have been more than 340 of our experts here, who were occupied with the investigation of the energy unknown to us and its forces. Until we finally came to the conclusion after about 20 years of research work with still 314 researchers that it was about religious energies, that is to say energies of faith. These were able to become so effective that they were able to affect you throughout your life. That you were always persecuted by them, especially because, in addition, what was arranged by the sectarian powers in your hometown worked everywhere. Consequently, from your earliest youth on, under their influence, you were always deprived and even physically harmed wherever you went. Included in this are also the 24 attacks on you, which were directed against your life. But because of the constantly growing number of mankind and the thereby growing faith of the people, it happened that the energy was able to develop to independence. This finally led to the fact that we have been dealing with it in a larger number since 2001. Because we finally realized after such a long time, which energies actually unknown to us were responsible for this and which affect you in your work. Explained in further and now short words, we will still need years of research work in order to understand enough about the whole thing to take action against this energy and its power and to make it harmless. So unfortunately you will not experience this anymore, while we retreat from the earth and do not want to have anything to do with its mankind again. Which is too religious for us to find its way to reality in the foreseeable future. When it will be time for the reality thinkers who can walk the path of understanding and reason and not the usual course. Then we, or rather our descendants, will come here and take away those concerned. There is nothing more to be said about it.
Now enough has been said. What remains to be said is that through our research we have found a way to at least partially prevent what you write from affecting you to the extent that you yourself can no longer read what you have actually written. However, in order to do that, Yanarara and I have to do some work on your computer that you don't have to be there for and can go to sleep.
That's a good word. Bye together and good work.
Goodbye and good night.
I wish the same.